Terrifier 3. A while back, I did a Terrifier movie review, or reviews, where I looked at the first two Terrifier movies because they had a massive cultural success, and what I narrowed it down to was the very small budget that these movies receive and the absolute bank that they end up making. But quickly over the course of just two movies, Art the Clown has become such this big horror movie icon, way up in the leagues of like Jason Voorhees and Freddy Krueger. The reason why I give the Terrifier movies my attention is mainly because of the practical effects. Damien Leone has so much creative freedom because he has a smaller budget and he's working by himself. He's not working with bigger companies. And the stuff that he pulls off in these movies with the short budget always amazes me, and it didn't hold back with Terrifier 3, the newest installment of this series. After surviving Art the Clown's Halloween massacre, Sienna and her brother struggle to rebuild their shattered lives. As the holiday season approaches, they try to embrace the Christmas spirit and leave the horrors of the past behind. However, just when they think they're safe, Art returns, determined to turn their holiday cheer into a new nightmare. So I watched Terrifier 3 about 4 months ago now, when it came out in October, being a Christmas movie. To start with, I'm just going to talk about what I enjoyed about the movie and what I didn't think worked as well. And then I sort of want to talk about the future of this project. So let's start with the positives. The practical effects. Of course, there's going to be an absolute standout with Damien Leone. And he pretty much does up the ante in this. Now, obviously when the movie came out, you had your plethora of the obvious reviews. Everyone's walking out of the cinema just like you did with the second movie. Most of the reviews said that this movie has the most amount of gore, the worst kills. I saw this one review that said every single kill in this movie tops the bedroom scene in Terrifier 2. Let me tell you, that's an absolute lie. The one scene that probably topped the bedroom scene in this movie was obviously the bathroom scene. The bathroom scene was absolutely horrific to watch, but also incredible at the same time, because it looked very, very, very good. And once again, I know that's weird to say, but the practical effects were just spot on. 78% on Rotten Tomatoes. Anyway, another absolute standout is Art the Clown, Mr. David Howard Thornton. Once again, he just brings this character to life. He brings Art the Clown to life. I think that some of the settings were really good in this movie, and honestly, I kind of enjoyed some of the lighting. And I also enjoyed how this movie just tried its very best to top the other one. That's pretty much all I have to say about the positives, because I have quite a few negatives with this movie. The number one I want to talk about is that Terrifier 2 is such a heavy story film, especially when you look at Terrifier 1, which is just like a really short, gory slasher. Moving on to Terrifier 2, they really went down the lore route. They built these really good characters. I wouldn't call them really good. They built these characters that have a lot of story to them, a lot of backstory. They have purpose. As much as I didn't think it was written as well in Terrifier 2, I still think the characters were a standout. They actually had a goal. They had a story. We were following their lore. And so the story difference between the first movie and the second movie are massive. And then in this movie, barely of that is present. There's barely any of that same story that we got in the second one where we're following Sienna. Instead, most of this movie was just following Art the Clown killing kids, and there was really not much story there. Of course, by the end of it, sort of a spoiler by the way, there was that really big standoff between Sienna and Art and the lady that's following Art, and then like this interdimensional hell portal opens up and the lady's like eyes are glowing and all this really cool stuff's happening. Like, that stuff is cool. You can have that sort of mythology sort of stuff, because we know Art the Clown is definitely not human. So I think showing more of that, as far-fetched as it is, it can be handled very well. But it was just so out of nowhere. At the end of an hour and 50 minutes of just Art doing stuff, and barely any character development or spending time with the character Sienna, all of this seems so rushed and forced. Especially since the second movie is so heavy on the plot. So yeah, I was a bit disappointed with that, because I was really excited to learn more about Art, and if not, learn more about Sienna. I thought this movie would do her more justice. I'm sorry, but the most I can say from what I got out of this is that this one feels more like a filler movie leading up to Terrifier 4, which hopefully they do a bigger things, but I'm pretty sure they already had Terrifier 5. Anyway, this was definitely not the end of Terrifier, but I really hope they bring more story into it, because as far-fetched as it may seem, like you can make Art the Clown like this interdimensional being. You know, it works with like Pennywise, and that's an absolutely fantastic story. And also having Sienna like the savior, you barely even need to explain that really. Just give a bit of an expedition dump and then have them go at it, but actually, you know, build your tension. Another negative that I didn't like I just previously mentioned, Art's eyes were different. I didn't really like the redesign of Art. He became much less creepy. In the other two movies, when he had like the real eyes, it was just horrifying to see him staring at you. In this one, it just seemed a bit goofy. That's, once again, I don't really know if you call that a negative. That's just a personal preference of mine. I thought the final battle where the hell portal opened up and just stuff was going down, I thought that was really great, but we needed a build up to that, because Art was just going around killing people. I get that he was maybe trying to find Sienna, but he didn't like uncover clues to find out where she was. He kind of just was like, he was just in the right place at the right time. I'm actually going to change my review for it. My review currently, or my rating currently on Letterboxd is a 6. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. I apologize. Because at the end of the day, it's not good. It's not as bad as the first Terrifier. It's nowhere near as good as Terrifier 2, and I don't expect much out of these movies at all. But you need to stick to what you got, you know? If you're seriously wanting to go down this route of having your IPs, building all this lore, you need to stick to that. Instead of doing this big lore thing, which is great, having this incredible story that you can build upon, and then just in this next movie, just dropping it until the end. That's why, to me, this movie seems more like a filler, and I give Terrifier 3 a 5 out of 10. Another thing, this movie had a budget of $2 million US, which, that's insane. In these days, that's pretty much like the first Halloween's budget, which only had like
325,000.
And it made back in the box office 89.8 million. The one thing I love about Damien Leone is that he doesn't seem to be influenced by money. I know for a fact that he has denied bigger studios trying to pick up these movies so that he can have more creative freedom, and I respect that. He obviously has this vision, so I don't know. Is this really the movie that he wanted to make? Really just needed more, and it sucks that I don't like this movie as much because it's got quite good reviews. A 6.4 on IMDb, 78% on Rotten Tomatoes, which I believe that's the critics, and an 8 out of 10 on Joe Blow. I don't know what the heck Joe Blow is. Let me check Letterboxd real quick. Let's see if I actually wrote anything. So I said, incredible work by Thornton once again, who never fails to bring the charisma to the psychotic clown slaughterer. The bigger the budget, the grosser the film will turn out. Practical effects were on point. Apart from these elements, not much else stood out. The story-driven route felt less amplified. Characters and their storylines only felt like filler towards the next gruesome kill. A lot of elements were introduced and just didn't work. That was my review on Letterboxd. Almost 4 months later, my opinions still stay the same on Terrifier 3. I'm not the biggest Terrifier fan, but I always love watching them just to see how they're gonna top the next ones. I've watched The Night Circle, I've watched All Hallow Eve, and to see those and then see where this clearly passion project that Damien Leone has been trying to get up and running since 2008, it's really cool. It inspires me a lot, and I feel so happy for him. I'm sort of in the same boat. I have those visions that, I've had a couple of story ideas since I was like, I don't know, 10. And now I've actually started writing scripts and stuff for him. So Damien Leone, hats off to you, bro. I'm so happy that this franchise has taken off for you. But yes, there is a Terrifier 5 and a Terrifier 4 coming out. Obviously, it's going to be a Terrifier 4. And I just added both of them to my watch list. I've got stuff on my Letterboxd watch list that doesn't come out till like 2031. Those two movies don't have dates on them. Let me know what you think of this movie. I know it's praised. I know people love it. And I'm glad that you do. That's really cool. No, I haven't. I've had this mic in my... Oh, the audio is going to be really bad. Sorry about that, guys. I thought I was recording with my mic the whole time. I had the mic in my hand. Oh, that's embarrassing. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Hope this didn't make you too mad. Have a great day, and I'll see you at the Terrifier 4 review.